Hello, and welcome to my first chess analysis. This game was played today, Sunday, September 5th, 2021, between myself and a fellow chess.com rapid player, 10-minute time control, no time back. I was about 1040, I think, at this game, and then my opponent was a little over 1,000, so after I won, so I think I finished now 1058 on my chess.com account for rapid, and he just dropped with the loss, dropped below 1,000. This is my first time doing this. I'd like to be doing this in the future. I feel like this will help me in my chess. Anyway, let's get into the game. d4, d5. I tend to always do d4, and then I'm pretty much gonna again play c4, the queen's gambit, against pretty much anything with white. Obviously, situation dictates, but this is the most lines that I know. I also play the queen's gambit decline is black against d4. I'm just letting you know. Okay, so he accepts the queen's gambit, play e4, taking space in the middle, brings his knight out. Now there's two attackers on the d4 pawn, so I bring my knight out to defend it. He goes for a pawn move here, g6, looking to fianchetto, whatever, the bishop, most likely, and then try to castle. I wasn't really worried about what he was doing right now. I just try to get continued development, blockade the pawn. So he moves his bishop here. Now I have three attackers on that d4 pawn, and I have two defenders. So I push the pawn, getting tempo on the knight. The knight moves to e5, and then I capture here. Just trading it off. The way my pawns are, that knight wasn't really protecting, was just kind of holding space in the center. But I'm not against, trading minor pieces if they're pretty much equal. I feel like I've been practicing a lot of endgames, so I feel like I'd be better in the endgame. Anyway, so of course he recaptures, and then this is when I take that pawn. Again, 2 moves to fold, regaining that pawn back from the gambit, and then developing my bishop to a good square, or at least I feel is a good square. Again, he continues with developing, brings out his knight, takes this opportunity to castle. He's bringing out his bishop, attacks my queen. I sat here and I think I thought about this for a little bit on which square would be best to put my queen. I eventually decided on d2, maybe setting something up, coming at some point to h6 or sliding over. I wasn't super thought out at this point, but I just thought that it was a good square. He couldn't continually attack my queen without, again, bishop. I just take knight, take with my knight. So he takes here, which again, if you look at the analysis bar, is a mistake, because of that. When I take back, he is now this situation. So I was really looking at this, I really thought about this. Should I take with the pawn, bring this on to the center, or put with the queen? But after thinking about it for a while, I liked the attack that I was now lining up on that knight on f6, and because that that his g pawn has been pushed out to g6, I thought that was a good opportunity to get in there, maybe attack that rook, which, as you'll see, I completely missed that later in the game. Just completely forgot about my idea. So after I take, he takes with the knight, and so the computer on both engines was telling me to move the bishop. I don't know if I would have thought that far ahead, or I don't know if I would have seen that. I mean, I should have seen that is what I'm saying, but another thing that I definitely should have seen, because I was already thinking about it, would be just take the rook with the queen, and then he's going to have to move the king and then take the queen. The other rook comes in, and now his king's stuck in the center of the board on the 7th rank. His rook would be behind him. That would be looking like if, let's just see, queen takes, he's going to have to move his king, and then I like to simplify. So generally, if I can get into a position like this, and then this is looking, I would feel pretty good for me. Yeah, I didn't even go this far, but yeah, now here we go. Excuse my language, attacking. All right, but going here, I just completely missed it. This is straight blunder right here. I figured that I could win something back, but I wasn't thinking big enough. So he moves back, and then my idea for this was, all right, now I'm definitely going to get in here and be able to get something out of this, applying more pressure to the knight. And then when he moves his queen, I take, removing the defender on the bishop. That's what I was looking at. Generally, when I did this, it's coming back to me. Sorry, it's been a long day, but I'm recording this at like 1 a.m. But removing the attacker or the defender of that bishop on g4, he takes, I take, and just up the exchange, as the other chess YouTubers would say. He takes that pawn, not really worried about it. It's defended. And my idea with this was then to go to a4 with the bishop, checking the king. He plays his queen back. Again, I think the computer was saying he probably should have castled. Yeah, that would have definitely hung up my plan a little bit if he would have done that, but luckily he makes another queen move, which gives me the opportunity to check his king. And then he tries to block with the pawn, but of course here I just take, he takes, I take, forking the king and rook. Now he thought about this for a minute before he decided to play king d8. Of course, that's just checkmate and one. He could have played f8, king f8, and given up the rook, but I think he thought about it enough and decided that he didn't like that. And instead of resigning, I feel like he just went here just to be checkmated. Again, if you notice again, I got blinded here on this d4, move 12, moving to d4. I literally had two opportunities, either here or here, to be up, a massive amount, and I just got tunnel vision, looking at these minor pieces. That's my biggest takeaway from this game. Yeah, this was fun going through it. I hope to do more stuff like this in the future. Hopefully it turns out well. If anybody watches this, probably not, but thanks for watching.